team co-host Chris Camella. What up, Chris?
Oh man, I think this podcast already got rejected by Wemby.
Victor Wembanyama comes through again in game two, especially in that game when we'll get into that performance against the Thunder. But the Thunder take game two and tie the series. We'll get into the Knicks and their historic comeback in game one, or was it more so an epic collapse by the Cavs? And Masai Ujiri is the new guy, head guy, vice president of basketball operations, or is he president and GM? Does he get a piece of ownership as well? I don't know. But he fired Jason Kidd earlier today, and we should have seen that coming. And we'll talk some other NBA offseason moves that might be coming up, especially Giannis as well, and a little Lakers front office shuffling. We'll get into that also. But Chris,
Yes, sir.
SGA, we got him. We got him back. He played great. Goes for 30. Not really as efficient as he wanted to be. And what he said in his post game, even though he shot almost 50% from the field, which is pretty efficient to me. But the lead of this game, if we're bearing the lead, obviously, after the Thunder winning game two, as they should have. There was no chance I gave the Thunder of losing game two after losing game one. But they did lose J-Dub, Jason Williams, to injury, and he went out in the second quarter and did not return for the game. So we don't know what his status is going to be like. Was out, missed pretty much the entire Lakers series outside of maybe a game or two. But Chris, what did you make of this game, especially on the heels of game one, which was that epic performance from Wemby and that shot that forced the game into overtime? Man, one of the greatest shots I've seen.
One of the greatest game ones of a conference finals I think I've seen in quite some time. And if you don't believe me, see the stats. 29, what was it? The most highest rated game one of a conference finals in 29 years, Chaz. 29 years, almost as long as you and I have been alive. That's really saying something. I think what Oklahoma City proved tonight was championship resolve. They were up against it. And by the way, they may have won this game by 9 points. This win was not easy. San Antonio, once again, came out firing on all cylinders. They weathered that storm early. They have no fear. I don't want to say no respect, but they certainly have no fear of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And what we have seen in these first two games is that 4-1 series win, 4-1 series that they had during the regular season against the Thunder was no fluke. It wasn't. Okay, one of those wins was without the Thunder, I think, after they had already clinched the 1 seed. But if you go back to the NBA Cup in the semifinals and the other meetings, particularly the one on Christmas Day, there is no fear. They have a very good situation there with the San Antonio Spurs. And even though they lost tonight, they go back on that plane back to San Antonio happy. They got the split, and they have made the Thunder work. Now, you mentioned Jalen Williams' injury. And it may be hard for me to say this because I'm such a fan of J-Dub, and I'll give it back to you in a sec. If you notice what happened tonight, they won without J-Dub. They are 9-0 in these playoffs. Or I'm sorry, I should say 7-0 in these playoffs without Jalen Williams. I mean, think about that. They have spent the entire season almost without him, or at least 50. I would say 75% without him. And what did you see tonight, Chaz? 4 guys come up off the bench in double figures. Jared McCain looked like Jared McCain again. Ajay Mitchell looked like Ajay Mitchell. Cason Wallace. Obviously, Caruso, we know what he's capable of doing. Being without J-Dub, it's going to make things harder, but they have the depth to do it without him. Even Isaiah Joe got some minutes. So those guys know how to play without Jalen Williams, right? And I think, I think you saw in game one a lack of aggression from those role players when he was back in there. Once it was certain that he wasn't coming back in this game, the aggression, the confidence, the looking more for your shots, it all came back to the Thunder. So yes, SGA was huge, Hartenstein was huge, Holmgren was huge, but they don't win this game without those guards coming up off the bench and making shots.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Spurs are playing. They played the end of that game without De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper, who also went back to the locker room. So that's
and no Fox.
The difference with the Spurs to me is that they have guard play to match OKC. And then on top of that, they have Wemby. Now they don't have that in between guy um, like a Lou Dort or anything like you would want that guy that's plays and everything like that. They got Champagny, they have Dylan Harper, they have Keldon Johnson, but they need somebody better, I think, in that spot than Harrison Barnes. You know, like that's the spot to have a little bit of a either a rougher player or a player that's more skilled, just a different type of skill set. Not to say that Harrison Barnes is bad, he's good, but just in that spot specifically for the Spurs team, that's where they can upgrade this offseason for sure. So
agreed.
Ultimately, I really think in this series, it's just going to come down to which team executes, honestly. The Thunder are going to have the edge because they have the experience, they have the home court, and they have guys that are just playing absolutely outside of their mind. Chris, when was the last time we saw Caruso hit back-to-back threes consistently like this? Like, I feel like
really
Caruso he's a completely different player than what he was with the Lakers. He's talking shit. He's coming back to the bench. He's very animated. Obviously, he was dunking a lot in his younger days. He still dunks now, but his defensive prowess is even that much better. I think because he's on a team where he can get away with a lot more. The Thunder absolutely hold and grab on every single play. And NBC, shout out to NBC, their cameramen, because they are getting every single time Hardenstein is holding, they're replaying it. We see it. The refs aren't calling it. And it's just blatant. And honestly, they keep holding Wemby blatantly, like with two hands, Hardenstein and Holmgren. Why don't they just do that shit back? I don't understand. Maybe it's just not the way that you play. You don't want to get out of your own game. But I mean, if I was a Spurs player, especially Wemby, I would be doing that shit back. Like,
for sure.
I'm a star player. I'm an MVP candidate, just like Shea. If you're not going to call shit on him barely, and you're going to allow him to flop all over the place, then, you know, let me do that shit too. So that's just my thinking if I was Wemby. But ultimately, let me ask this question. This is where I want to take it. Chris, do you think the Spurs are a better team?
I think, honestly, I don't think they're quite ready to get over that hump. However, you don't always need to be the better team to win a series. I think maybe you could make an argument in this instance they have to. However, the one thing that they have going for them, Chaz, they're confident. And it's not just Wembanyama. It's Castle. It's Dylan Harper. It's, you know, the guys that come up off their bench for them. I mean, right now they're down Fox. We'll see about the extent of the injury with both Fox and Dylan Harper going into game 3 because you only have 48 hours to prepare. I do believe San Antonio can win this series, though. Oh, yeah. I don't think they will.
They proved that in game 1.
Yeah, exactly. So are they a better team than the Oklahoma City Thunder? If they are, it's because what Wembanyama brings to the table might eclipse what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander brings to the table. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ultimately, for me, it's really just going to come down to
who out executes who.
Yeah, who out executes who, but also, like, I think the Spurs are a better team, honestly. They have more talent. They have more the fact that the fact that they can go into OKC and get a win like that, very impressive. The way they played tonight, even coming off of that win, was impressive. Being down by double digits and getting it down to within a possession. Keldon Johnson Jr. was great in those minutes, in that like 3 to 5 minute mark in the fourth quarter, just to keep the Thunder within striking distance from the Spurs. I thought it was great. I thought it was great coaching. I do think that Mark Daigneault has a little bit of an edge when it comes to the depth of his team and who he can deploy at certain times. But really, you can only play 5 guys at once. So I think the Spurs 5 guys are better than the Thunder's best 5 guys, but they're missing De'Aaron Fox. Like, if De'Aaron Fox was on, like, that opens up Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper that much more and
Well,
then you don't need Keldon Johnson as much. I just think that the
yeah.
whole series is going to switch if De'Aaron Fox can get back on the floor in the next game or two, and if J-Dub rather, isn't on the floor for the next couple games, because it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
He's been having hamstring problems really all year. I was the left, and then he hurt the right in game 2 of the Phoenix series and everything like that. Let me go back to something you said. Yeah, I think on paper, the best 5 for the Spurs, which I believe when they're healthy, Wemby, Castle, Vassell, Fox, and then Harper. I would say those are probably your best 5. OKC side, Chet the Stet, SGA, Dort, right? J-Dub when he's healthy, and then Caruso. I think those are kind of the 5 there. The thing is, though, you need to have Chet if he's not going to eclipse Wemby, which nobody is asking him to, but you cannot allow Wemby to just dominate you like Stephen A was saying, like you're 6'5". You can't have that. At some point, you have got to tell Mark Daigneault, he's mine. Everybody, help out when you can, but I got this dude. You have got to pull a page out of Kobe guarding Allen Iverson, Kobe guarding Paul Pierce, Michael Jordan chasing Reggie Miller around, Magic guarding Larry Bird, and then recently Jaylen Brown guarding Luka Doncic. Remember that in the 2024 finals? If Luka's out there, I'm out there. If Luka rests, I'll rest. But if he's out there, I got him. Not you, Drew. Not you, Derek White. Not you, Jason Tatum. That's me. And I want to see that out of Chet Holmgren. And the thing is, I know it's there, Chaz. Why? Because him and Hartenstein took down Nikola Jokic last year. So you have to have that same kind of mentality taking on this freaking monster over here who's 7'5" and the second coming and could be the love child of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kevin Durant. You have to have that mentality.
So who's winning the series, Christian?
I still believe the Thunder will find a way to win it because they're the champs. I'm giving them that benefit of the doubt. And tonight was a step in the right direction. The question is, how serious are the injuries of Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox? And on the other side, how serious is the injury of J-Dub? Here's the difference, though. They've been playing without J-Dub most of these playoffs and throughout the regular season. They know they could win without J-Dub. I don't know if the Spurs believe that they could win without Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox. And here's the issue with Fox. On the one hand, you're better defensively with him out. On the other hand, though, you're still disorganized offensively without him because you're seeing the turnovers stack up on Castle because he is not a natural point guard. You need someone there to organize that, and that's where Fox kind of comes in handy, and that's where you benefit from having.
They're just another the purpose of the game is to outscore the other team, have more points than the other team. It's not the entire game, but that's the main purpose of the game. If you got a guy that can put the ball in the basket like Fox can, you're better off without him, even if he is more of a liability than some others. So for that reason and that reason only, I do believe he's going to come back in this series, and he is going to be a world of difference for this team. They already got one under their belt. They only need 3 more.
And they got the home court.
They got the home court. I'm taking the Spurs to win this game or to win this series, to go to the finals.
Right.
And getting into it, the Knicks are winners in all this because the Cavs collapse, and it's looking like this is going to be an absolute. We're watching the NBA Finals right now, guys. Just to be honest with you,
yeah.
I don't think the Knicks can beat. And I'm just going to say it right now: the Knicks are going to the finals, but they can't beat the Spurs or the Thunder, in my opinion.
They're a little bit more. They're a little bit better matched to take on the Thunder, but yeah, I don't think that they can knock out either.
It would be good. It's going 6 or 7 games regardless, but it's a bad matchup. They actually match up better with the Thunder than I think they do the Spurs. The Knicks do. The Cavs are absolutely out of it. Chris, I'm just going to take this one real quick. The Cavs, if you're up by a dub plus with single-digit minutes left in the game, I don't care if this is new age NBA. I don't care if it's playoffs. I don't care if it's regular season. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's pickup. You don't lose a game with 7 minutes left and you're up more than 20 points. in any capacity. And the coach of the team that does that deserves to be fired, to be truly honest with you. Now, will he be fired? No. But for you to be in the Western Conference Finals, Kenny Atkinson, and I heard his explanation. I want to take as many timeouts with me as I can. Michael Wilbon this morning made a great point. I'm not going to take credit for it. You can't take all your timeouts with you anyway. Let's say you have 4 timeouts, 2 of them go away once you get to the 3-minute mark. Either way, right? So he would have had 1 extra timeout had he have used one, but he let one go unnecessarily because he let it go, didn't use it. Like literally, if you don't use it, you lose it once you get to 3 minutes or 2 minutes, one of the two. I think it's 3 minutes, but either way, Kenny Atkinson.
That's on him.
Take away from the fact that James Harden was getting cooked. Doesn't take away from the fact that Donovan Mitchell just lost his rhythm and couldn't make a shot. Doesn't take away from the fact that Jared Allen and Evan Mobley couldn't get a rebound at all. I mean, and you let somebody like Kat and Anunoby and Josh Hart out rebound you for offensive rebounds to kick back out to Jalen Brunson for additional possessions to cook Harden that much more. So I got the Knicks probably in 5, maybe 6 if they play with their food. But the Cavs are not winning this series. That was too big of a mental edge in this series to have the Knicks come back, even with Cleveland playing their absolute best, surprisingly, after a Game 7 in which they completely blew out the Detroit Pistons. Chris, what did you make of that collapse, and are the Knicks going to the finals?
Yeah, I thought so too. Coming into this series, I thought it was going to be a 5, maybe a 6-game series. You know, Cleveland's a pretty good home team. They have found ways to win. The one thing that they have done really well too is they've been a little bit grittier than I maybe gave them credit for. I mean, a Game 7 win on the road in Detroit, that's impressive for a team that was not winning on the road early in these playoffs. They didn't win a road game early in that series against Detroit. They didn't win a road game in the Toronto series, but they have yet found ways to win. I completely agree. I mean, it wasn't just the bad coaching of Kenny Atkinson. It was just poor execution, though. They got stagnant offensively. They thought that they had the game won with 7:47 to go and a 23-point lead. They didn't keep their foot on the gas. They got away from what helped them build the lead in the first place throughout that second half. And it was just deplorable basketball. And this is why I told you 2 things that I thought I got right yesterday. One, for Cavs fans, there was PTSD of LeBron doing this to J.R. Smith in Game 1 of the 2018 Finals. Another Game 1 collapse from the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road in a big game. And 2, Harden and Mitchell, as talented as they are, they're both Hall of Famers, but they are tier 2. They are Coke Zero. They are Diet Coke. They are Shasta Cola in the playoffs, and they cannot be trusted. I'm sorry. They can't. They just cannot be trusted. And I know Mitchell hasn't had as many playoff shortcomings as Harden has, but for whatever reason, and this is what I thought when they got James Harden, they're thinking 2 of these guys who've had negatives in their postseason careers are going to be, able to get us over the hump. No, that's not the case. And the fact of the matter is they don't match up to Cade Cunningham, and they certainly don't match up to Jalen Brunson. The only reason why they were able to get out of that Detroit series was because Cade was done. He couldn't do it by himself. Tobias Harris flamed out. Duncan Robinson flamed out. Jalen Duren flamed out. That's really what it was. He had no one there to help him. Brunson, though, runs a little bit differently. And the thing is, Brunson actually has a collection of role players that have proven to be more reliable in these playoffs. And you're seeing it from Mikal Bridges. You're seeing Karl Anthony Towns. Landry Shamet was huge tonight. OG back in the mix. Josh Hart. They have guys who are not going to shy away from the moment. So, yeah. But I agree. It's Knicks in 6.
It's Knicks in 5, maybe 6. Ultimately, right now, I think Donovan Mitchell is a better player. And I don't think that analogy really goes. I understand what you're trying to say, but that Game 1 in Cleveland in 2018 was a close game that went to overtime that the Cavs should have won. won, but like
Right. But
I don't think the
you're missing my
Cavs
point.
collapsed in game 1 of the 2018 finals.
No, but they blew an opportunity. They blew an opportunity. That game 1 of 2018 was personified in that one moment, that one blunder by J.R. Smith. I agree with you. The Cavs did not play bad in that. Right. But they had an opportunity to really shake up that series. They were ultimately swept. You're right. And that was
if the Knicks end up sweeping them, then maybe. But I just
okay. But my point is, game 1 on the road, chance to steal one, chance to put some doubt into the Knicks' mind, just like it would have put. I still think Golden State would have won that series in 2018. However, that was your golden opportunity. Just like in an at bat, Chaz, you're not going to get 5 pitches to hit in an at bat. Maybe you get one. And if you do not capitalize on that one, you may not get that another opportunity again in that at bat. This was Cleveland's at bat. This was the fastball down the middle, and they swung on and missed. And this could ultimately doom them in the series. That's what I wanted to say.
And what I'm saying is, the Cavs are still going to win a game or two.
Sure.
We're both. If you're taking Knicks in 6, right, then you're acknowledging the Cavs are going to win more than likely another game or two. So we weren't. I guess my point. Hold on, I get yours. My point is that on the other side, this Cavs team, we're expecting them to win at least 1 or 2 games. We're not expecting them to get swept. We were expecting that 2018 Cavs team not to win a game against that Golden State team that ultimately won back-to-back championships. So I think that's all that I'm pretty much
that's fair.
Trying to get at.
Yeah, I could see it, but I just think the moment though too, it just like it just felt fitting.
The moment was pretty fucked up for them. I'm not gonna lie. Masai Ujiri.
Yes, sir.
Finally, somebody smartens up and hires one of the best, maybe the best available executive in the NBA.
Nice work, Lakers.
They didn't need him.
I disagree, but go ahead.
I'm just gonna say I don't think they needed him. I think because the Lakers aren't gonna give, like, hiring Masai Ujiri. Masai Ujiri has full autonomy over that team. Doesn't want to hear shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Doesn't want to hear shit from Patrick Dumont. Doesn't want to hear shit from whoever he hires as the GM. He's effectively the de facto GM because he's going to hire one, right? Because he's the president of basketball operations. But shit, he say it again.
He hired a GM, Mike Schmitz or something. Schwartz.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, somebody from Portland.
He's the de facto GM, right? But if he were to go to the Lakers, he wouldn't have the type of power and the type of oversight that he has. So that's why I said they didn't need him, because it wouldn't have been a good fit from that perspective. But otherwise, for the Mavericks, they keep making great move after great move, honestly. Yeah. Ever since the Luka trade, they've made really good moves, I think. Outside of, I don't think they should have traded Anthony Davis. I really don't.
That was a bit hasty. Yeah.
I think they should have held on to him, because I can't even tell you what they got for him, honestly. Yeah.
Chris Middleton, I know they got it expired. They got like 2 expiring contracts.
I know you got some cap relief, but you still your best player is on a rookie deal still, True. and then Kyrie, we're kind of up in the air with him, especially like it seems like you're turning over a new leaf on the entire organization, is what it seems like, after firing Nico Harrison, now firing Jason Kidd, getting Masai Ujiri in there, hiring a new GM. It just seems like a new. You're probably going to turn over the roster a lot, right? It seems like.
And they've got about 5 more guys they could trade this summer as well. Gafford, Lively, PJ Washington, Clay, and now I'm hearing Kyrie.
One of those guys, they're not going to hang on to both Lively and Gafford. Now, I can understand why you would and why they have, because of Lively's foot issues that have been worse than initially thought by the organization when it happened, I think almost 2 years ago, when I think he's just dealt with stress fractures multiple times. But ultimately, I think
Correct.
the Dallas Mavericks are making good moves. I like Jason Kidd, but this seems like a good move, especially if Jason Kidd reportedly supported the Luka trade. You got to get everybody out of the organization that supported the Luka trade. Um, so that way you can't have any of the fans still pointing at anybody in your regime that has that hangover, that dark cloud over the organization. So I actually like the move. I understand it, and hopefully, maybe Jason Kidd can come back to the Lakers as an assistant coach, or or be on the staff, or whatever the case may be. Hell, he could go back to Milwaukee, right? If he really wanted, to, if Milwaukee decides to hire a different coach. Milwaukee hasn't hired a coach yet, have they?
Yeah, they did. Taylor Jenkins. There's 3
Damn.
openings right now. There's Portland,
Shit.
there's Chicago, there's Orlando. Orlando appears to be interested in Billy Donovan, but with Kidd being available, will they, throw their hat in the ringer? I don't think Portland is going to be interested in him because I think they want to go to a cheap route, and get a coach that they maybe feel they can lowball a little bit, and he's not going to go to Chicago. So
Kidd might sit this one out. He might
he
sit the
he will.
season
Well,
out.
don't forget so let me jump in here. First of 3 points. One, he's still owed 40 mil on a contract that he was given an extension for, I believe, through Nico Harrison. That might have been one of the last things that Nico did. Second, this is sometimes the process of bringing in a new president of operations. Sometimes guys like to settle in, deal with the people that they've inherited, and then decide to make moves, after 1 year. We saw that with David Griffin. He inherited Alvin Gentry, fires Alvin Gentry, brought in Willie Green, right? Joe Dumars fires Willie Green, now hires Jamal Mosley. So sometimes you give it a year just to kind of assess the lay of the land. Masai came in and decided to, look like Ari Gold in Entourage, with paintball guns saying who's fired on an agency he just bought, right? So, yeah, there were 2 negative reports that came out about Kidd today. One was he was complicit in the Luka Doncic trade. This was not something that he fought against. And even if he did, he didn't fight very hard to where he put Nico Harrison in a bind where it's like, it's me or Luka kind of a thing. The second thing was, and this came out from some random name, Henry Abbott or something like that, saying that Jason Kidd's style and his voice and everything, and we saw this with the Nets and we saw this with the Milwaukee Bucks, it flames out. It wears down on an organization and a team after a given amount of time. Now, the reason why I don't know if that's really applicable is because there's been so much turnover with this team in a short amount of time. So I have a hard time believing that he was grading on Cooper Flagg, or Anthony Davis or Kyrie, especially with Kyrie not playing at all last year. And I really have a hard time believing that. However, Jason Kidd's a Hall of Fame player, one of the greatest point guards to ever play this game. And sometimes when you're a great player, that transition to coaching can be very difficult, even though he's had a lot of success at it, right? Especially in his time with Dallas and his time with Milwaukee, right? Finals appearance with the Mavs, Western Conference Finals 2 years before that. So I didn't, he's a really solid head coach. And he did a great job as Vogel's assistant in the 2019-2020 season when they won a championship. And I'm really glad he got the Mavs job and he was the right guy at the time. But Masai has other plans and he wants to put his own people in there. And I can't, just on that aspect alone, you can't blame him for that. And Jay Kidd will end up going somewhere. Like you said, he could come back to the Lakers. He could get an assistant job somewhere else, or he could sit this one out for a year and wait for openings next year. That happens too, So we'll see what happens. I don't think he deserves to be called complicit in the Luka deal because at the end of the day, you're still a head coach. Nico Harrison made that move. Patrick Dumont made that move. The others in the front office signed off on it. Jason Kidd is still a head coach. So I don't want to hear that, because he was complicit in Luka trade, he deserves to go. Even Masai probably is calling bullshit on that. I think Masai probably feels like, you know what? I want my own people in here. I'm going to hire a GM, and I'm going to go out and hire an innovative head coach. And guess what? 2 names that came out. Sean Sweeney, associate head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, working with Mitch Johnson, and John Shire of the Duke Blue Devils. Your thoughts, sir, on those 2 options?
as head coaches for the Dallas Mavericks.
That's what Masai's looking at, man. And he's gotten a lot of head coaches right. He got Dwayne Casey right. He got Nick Nurse right after that. And even this guy Darko, I don't want to screw up his last name. That was his hire in Toronto. So he not only knows how to build teams.
Did he get Dwayne Casey right? If you have to fire Dwayne Casey, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think he hired Dwayne Casey, fired Dwayne Casey when Dwayne Casey got Coach of the Year, and then he hired Nick Nurse. This is also a dude that takes chances. He traded a beloved all-star, DeMar DeRozan, brought in Kawhi Leonard. What happened? Won a championship. Took chances on Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby.
He's a Kevin Durant Achilles away from not being viewed like that. But yes, the facts are the facts. Masai Ujiri, we'll see where the Mavericks are a year from now. Getting over into our last topic of the night, NBA offseason moves that are coming up. Chris, it's your time to shine, baby. I'm gonna say that the major move that needs to happen more than anything is just Giannis getting the fuck up out of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I don't even care, honestly, where he goes. I mean, I do, but I don't. And again, I'd like to reiterate, it's not on everybody else. It's on him, because he should have said by now, this is where I want to go to. I'm not going to sign an extension anywhere else. Let's make it happen, Captain. That's what NBA stars do, that are of his ilk. Other offseason moves that I'd like to see, LeBron James in a Laker uniform again. I think I give that more than a 50% chance of happening. I don't think he's retiring, and I don't think he's taking less. If he's taking less, if LeBron James is taking less, he's not taking less and moving somewhere at the same time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just don't see that happening. Why would I take less to go to Cleveland
or Detroit
or Golden State, Detroit, Knicks? New York, yeah. Like, my best chance of winning, honestly, is here in LA. Quite honestly, if the Lakers can find a fucking center that
the problem is, if these teams want to add him and he's not going to budge much on getting paid, right? I have a hard time believing LeBron would even go back to Cleveland at $15 million. And Cleveland has other needs as well. They're going to need to, figure out the James Harden situation. And as funny as this may sound, Chaz, I don't know if at this stage in his career, LeBron James is a significant upgrade over James Harden. And those are the questions that
he is. I'll tell you right. Maybe not for 82 games out of 82 games, but out of 16 out of 20 games,
and certainly in the playoffs,
and certainly in the playoffs, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
I'm not even letting you go there.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, is Kobe Altman going to want to rearrange the roster in order to accommodate a 41-year-old, soon to be 42-year-old by the end of the year?
If anything, he goes to Cleveland, he wants Harden to stay there, not leave.
Right, but that's still right, of course. So exactly my point. But something's going to have to give. Someone's going to have to take less money and whatnot. It just becomes very difficult.
It's not Harden. I'll tell you.
No, it's not. Exactly. And they're not. And I don't really think moving off of Jared Allen really makes you all that better either. We're going to give up a really talented center who has played well throughout these playoffs. And once again, in order to get this 42-year-old guy who may or may not get us over the hump, right? That's really the big question. So yeah, Giannis, we'll see what happens there. I know Boston's is in the mix. We've heard Houston. We've heard other teams as well. Will Golden State go after him? Miami? Go ahead. And then I'll get to the Lakers. Yeah.
I like the idea of Kyrie to Minnesota.
Yeah, I do too.
I like the idea of KD to Minnesota.
Or Kawhi, Minnesota.
I like the idea of Kawhi to Houston.
Mm-hmm. I would actually say Kawhi to Detroit, but yeah, I could see that.
I like the idea of KD to the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are all
and the Clippers
ideas that, but I do think either Kyrie, Julius Randle is up out of there in Minnesota. Does Julius Randle
not good?
Does Julius Randle fit better with the Rockets and Şengün? Is Houston ready to really upgrade and go after somebody like Giannis and trade KD to a third team that gets rerouted to Miami. That was another team that was interested in him as well. These are all things
Right.
that are free flowing that make a lot of sense because all of these teams have been involved in these players previously as well. Now, Kyrie to Minnesota, a little wonky, but I think that makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, especially when you're going to be without DiVincenzo for the whole year, right? He's got a torn Achilles. You don't want to bank on him coming back a la Jason Tatum. You're going to need, and the problem is, even with DiVincenzo, I was always saying, like, is that a good long-term solution? I think what they should have done was go after a more bona fide starting point guard and have DiVincenzo as your super sub off the bench. That's what I thought Minnesota should do. That's what really would get them over the hump, is getting Anthony Edwards, a bona fide other playmaker, because they don't really have that on their roster. I don't think they should move Jaden McDaniels. And I even think Rudy Gobert had a pretty solid postseason, going up against Jokic and Wemby. He answered these calls. The problem was Julius Randle was just not a good matchup in this series against San Antonio. So that'll be the trade option for them. He's got 2 years left on his current contract. I think worth $60 million. So we'll see what happens from there. Clippers have flexibility too. And I think you're right. This is the time to trade Kawhi. You got the 5th pick now. A little luck went your way. A pick that should have gone to Indiana. You end up getting a 5th pick of a really good draft. If you can get that along with some of the young players that you have, and then get more assets for Kawhi Leonard and sell high on them, now you could really expedite that rebuild process. Plus, you have Garland. More than likely, they're going to re-sign Benedict Mathurin and match through whatever offer they have. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers. So they have now some flexibility after getting that 5th pick. But the thing I wanted to talk about is the Lakers with the Walter Group, right, which now also features Farhan Zaidi helping out. They want to hire 2 assistant GMs to go along with current president of basketball operations, Rob Pelinka. And I threw out a couple of ideas to you because I'm like, assistant GMs. I would rather get I would honestly like to get guys with analytics background, understanding of cap, but also know how to run a front office. And I threw out 3 options to you. 1, Daryl Morey, recently fired by the Philadelphia 76ers. Laker fans probably don't want to hear that guy. Fact is, if you're looking for someone with analytics, who better than him? And you're not asking him to run the shot. You're asking him to assist in the shot. And the Lakers, just like the Dodgers have done for years, they want to put together a brain trust, even with guys who have been failures in other spots, but still have an astute knowledge of the game. The other, David Griffin. If you're going to keep LeBron around, especially Chaz, who better than a guy that won a championship with LeBron? David Griffin. Not to mention, drafted very well with New Orleans. Yes, Zion, you mentioned it earlier to me offline. Zion, the money issue was a problem, right? But Jordan Hawkins, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones, Jackson Hayes, all courtesy of David Griffin. The man knows talent. In an assistant GM role.
Can you run that list again one more time?
Jordan Hawkins, Jose Alvarado, I forgot to mention, Herbert Jones, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, did I mention Murphy, Jackson Hayes? Yeah, those are all the guys. And even that guy Missy's pretty good.
Can I just say, those are 8 NBA players, no All-Stars, and none of them are going to be All-Stars. So I'm just like, when we're talking picks, right? Those are all solid players, right?
All rotation players. All rotation players.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, so
that's important if you're going to build around Luka.
They are, but what I'm saying to you, Chris, is
they're not exactly studs.
There's a reason why the Pelicans are still in the lottery, even after picking all of those guys. Okay. So I'm not as high on that. David Griffin's a good GM, a good executive. I'm not going to say great, a good executive,
but those guys were not.
I'll pass.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And the last one is James Jones, who's currently, I think, employed with the league office right now. Spent years with the Phoenix Suns, kind of did a deep dive on them after they had gotten Devin Booker. He did a really good job building them up to being a contender for a few years. I remember traded for Mikal Bridges on draft night, drafted Cam Johnson, made a big deal to get Chris Paul, eventually made another big deal to get Kevin Durant. He knows how to put together the blockbuster deals and I think put together stars who fit together. Now, it didn't work out that well, but they did reach the finals in 2021. Unfortunately, after the Durant deal, they kind of mortgaged their depth a little bit and they weren't the same. Plus, he comes from that school of Pat Riley and Alonzo Mourning and a lot of guys that have been very good executives with the Miami Heat. So he also knows what a proper structure and a winning structure looks like. And another guy with the LeBron connection. He's played with LeBron in Miami and I think in Cleveland as well. A guy that knows what a championship experience looks like. And once again, Chaz, assistant GM, somebody whose knowledge, expertise, consultation with some success in their background can be beneficial to this Laker team. Those are just three guys I wanted to throw out there. And just for shits and giggles, Rajon Rondo, former Laker champion, adding him to JJ Redick's staff. I would be down for that.
Now that is something I would sign off on real quick. Love you, Scotty Brooks. Love you, Nick McMillan. Love you, St. Jean.
Yeah, St. Jean may get the Portland job, by the way. He's being looked at right now, so he may not even be with the Lakers next season.
He is. Love those guys. They good staff. I'll argue maybe even a great staff, given that JJ is a first and second year guy and back-to-back 50 wins. You don't do that without a more than solid staff. So Rondo on the staff as well, maybe as a behind the bench guy. Maybe not if he's being considered. Maybe not if he's being considered for head coaching jobs. But we'll see.
You got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. But I mean, a player of Rondo's ilk, LeBron would love that. LeBron would love Rondo in the building if somehow you can get him on your staff. So
I think Luka would love it. I think
that may be the biggest move that the Lakers can make. That's not with the roster, right? Like that is a difference-making type of move.
Okay. I once again, clearly we're not understanding the concept of assistant GM. Alex Anthopoulos was a failure essentially with the Toronto Blue Jays. Comes to the Dodgers for 2 years, right? Comes to the Dodgers for 2 years, part of Andrew Friedman's brain trust. And then what happened? Goes on with the Atlanta Braves with the knowledge that he had picked up from the Dodgers. And what happened? Won a World Series championship and multiple NL East titles with the Atlanta Braves. So there is an element here that just because it didn't work out in some of these places doesn't mean that you can't come here, help rebuild this organization up again, especially through the draft, which has been a problem for them in recent years because Dalton Knecht and Jalen Hood-Schifino turned out to be bust picks. Let's just call it what it is. Hood-Schifino's not even in the league right now, and Dalton Knecht might not be with the Lakers next season. Why not get guys who have actually drafted well and understand how to put together great teams? I don't think the Lakers are far off where they need to necessarily change their philosophy, but picking up one of these three guys could be the difference between getting bounced in the first or second round and potentially going through the conference finals. I just think it's worth a shot for any three of them. And I've met Daryl before. I covered a game with the LA Defenders at one point in time. Super nice guy, very, very knowledgeable, very down to earth. And I think, it didn't work out in Philly, but hey, it's what it is. What can you do?
It is what it is. Well, that's what happens when you give James Harden all that money, and then you give Embiid all that money, and then you give Paul George all that money.
Mm-hmm. But he drafted VJ. And Maxey.
You drafted VJ, and you do get credit there, but ultimately, the guys you give the guys you give the most money to don't play 50% of the season and get suspended for 25 games, you still made the second round and you still got fired. Seventh game, man.
Well, they beat a team down 3-1, a team that a lot of people picked to come out of the East, which was the Boston Celtics. So, listen, Daryl, he'll probably end up getting a head GM job or president of operations somewhere at some point. I just think for the time being, if he's still getting paid out from Philly, why not bring him here in a smaller role, let him rebuild his image a little bit, and then eventually take some interviews for a head job again? That's just something to consider. One more thing I wanted to mention. There were a few deaths, by the way, in the NBA family. Jason Collins passed away at 47 after a long battle with a rare form of brain cancer. Brandon Clark, tragically dead at the age of 29. I know his career had really kind of had really been up and down the last few years because of all the injuries, the torn ACL, the torn Achilles, things like that. I don't even want to ponder what happened there. And then in the baseball scene, Bobby Cox passed away 2 weeks ago. Braves legendary manager, World Series champion, Hall of Famer. I just wanted to give a shout out to all three of them. Chaz, and any remarks you wanted to make before we close it out?
Man, I feel for Brandon Clark and his family. That's something that, Bobby Cox and, lived a good life, a long life. Jason Collins, I don't want to say a long life, but a very impactful life,
yeah,
a life
meaningful.
full of meaningful outreach to touch others. I just feel for Brandon Clark and his family because his best years in the league were actually ahead of him, in my opinion.
I agree.
Given maybe what like his career was probably going to go in a better direction, given that Memphis was probably going to give him up, I think. But you never want to speculate. I just hate that the thought is of it being a drug overdose and things of that nature. And I just Brandon Clark's life meant more than a perceived drug overdose, regardless of if that is or isn't what happened. We don't have confirmation of it, but I just hate that that's been the subject of him, and rather than the memories and the great impact that he's had on other people's lives, i.e. Rui Hachimura, who played with him at Gonzaga, or John Morant, who had something meaningful to say, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr. You can go down the list of a great teammate that Brandon Clark was. So those are remarks that I have for him and his family, and just prayers up for anybody that's involved with that, man. But life is short, and it's a blessing to be able to be here every day and do what we do and talk ball and be able to have this life. So don't take it for granted. I know I don't.
Well said.
So on that note, we appreciate you guys hanging out with the Outlet Forum tonight. We will see you guys again next week. I think we'll be still in the middle of this OKC Spurs series, probably at possibly game 5 or 6 by this time next week, maybe even game 7. We'll see, because they're playing every other day at this point. The Knicks, right, they'll get to game 5 and probably get to rest for a few days because they took the Cavs' heart and soul. Even though the Cavs will win one at home, I don't see that series going very long at all. And then ultimately, I'm just going to make the declaration here, Chris. I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Rematch of 99 finals.
I got the Spurs winning it all.
A rematch of the 99 finals, Spurs and Knicks, huh?
Which would be very nostalgic in NBC's first year back doing the final. Or does NBC get the finals this year or ESPN?
I don't know. I think ESPN might.
No, ESPN. Actually, ESPN got it. ESPN.
And by the way, I got to say, the one thing that New York is doing way better than LA, those alumni coming out, the Knicks royalty coming out every single home game. Ewing, Larry Johnson.
Can we get Marbury off the floor? Can we get them off the floor, though?
Okay, let me finish my point. Okay, yes, we can get them off the floor. But
every time they make a bucket, they're literally on the fucking baseline.
Where are the Lakers at? Where are the Laker legends at? Where is Kurt Rambis? Where is Michael Cooper? James Worthy's doing the post-game stuff. Byron Scott, Magic. Obviously, Kareem is a little older. Like, where are these guys at? Right? Like, where are the Laker elites at? You know what I mean? Like, where are these guys? Where's Powell? I mean, Powell, okay, he'll show up here and there, but it's just like, it seems like with the Knicks, they're all in a row, man. That starting 5 of the 99 finals team was all sitting together. Johnson, Ewing, Camby,
I think
Sprewell,
all right. Can I just say this real quick?
Chris
It's a little different.
Childs.
They never won anything. So like a good team for the Knicks
Maybe they don't have
comes
shit
once
going on.
every generation. Like they had only had 3 good teams since we've been alive. That's the 90s team,
94,
the 95
99.
team, or the 94 team, the 99 team, and now this one. Like I can't even count the 2012 team that didn't even go to the conference finals, right? So like
they
they've
lost.
had 3 good teams in a whole generation. So yeah, those guys that played on those teams get treated like we have won 10 times
In LA,
10 times. The Lakers have won, I'm sorry, 7 times. Sorry, 6 times. They've won 6 times.
Some awful math going on over here. 6 times since when?
In our lifetime. I was just going to talk about
our okay. I thought you were talking about total championships in LA.
No.
I was like, what the heck is he talking about?
I was just I'm just saying in our lifetime, since the Knicks have been good, which was like what they started to really get good in the early 90s after they drafted Ewing and got stars and or really when they got Pat Riley. Pat Riley in
1990. No, that's it. They got him in 90. He was coach of the year with the Lakers. They let him go. And then they had Ewing already. And then eventually they had Charles Oakley. Then they started building out the roster a little bit. Anthony Mason.
Right. So
they drafted Greg Anthony. They had a lot of those guys, John Starks and whatnot.
So
Rolando
ever since
Blackman.
the Knicks really got good after their
73 was the last
win.
Championship. Yeah.
Right.
No, 73 championship. Yeah. Against the Lakers.
73 championship. They go almost 20 years before they're good again, right?
Yeah.
Then they go another almost 20 plus something years until they go again, until they're good again, right? So it's just like that's the difference. So I just want to answer that. It's a very roundabout, long ass way of answering. That's the reason why you don't see Samaki Walker and Slava Medvedenko and Sasha Vujacic and Pau Gasol and
Ron Artest, the Meta World Peace.
You just don't. Now I will say the Lakers have hired a lot of their championship guys. So Robert Horry, you still see James Worthy, you still see Derek Fisher, you'll still see like those guys, those top guys.
Yeah. Oh, Rick Fox just won as like mayor of like some city councilman in the Bahamas or something, or governor of the Bahamas. Yeah. So he's doing life in politics. Derek Fisher's coaching. He's doing stuff, but like, and I think
Derek
Shaw's
Fisher's on 97, the fan.
The fan. Yeah. I haven't listened to that yet, but I know he's got a morning show with Cody Decker, I think, or something like that. So yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. That's a little situation. I mean, it's a good project, but terrestrial radio, you're clinging on to something over here, just like I'm trying to cling on to being a newspaper writer, dude. What the heck am I doing? But hey, I'm still getting paid, so it can't be all that bad, right?
Can't be all that bad, Chris. Like
anyway,
every day's another opportunity.
Yes, sir. I hear what you're saying though. But still, it's just like, I wish, that'd be cool if the Lakers had some of these guys sitting courtside. But
yeah, well. We appreciate you guys tapping into the Outlet Forum. We will see you next week.